Hey everybody, we are going to talk about some dramatic elements right now. And then in the next lesson, I'm going to talk a little bit more about I Am American because both of these things are going to be tested on pretty heavily in the quick test and the unit test. So um, we're gonna power through this together really briefly. So dramatic devices. The first one we're going to talk about is a monologue. A monologue is a long speech. So a character's up on stage and they are talking either to one other character or to the audience or both. And it's like they're trying to mull over something, right? They're thinking through complex thoughts. They're thinking through complex emotions. They're explaining a backstory without interruption from other characters. So this is not a back and forth between two characters while there might be another character on stage, likely probably is. It's just one character doing all of the talking. So it's almost like the story pauses, the storyline, the plot, all the other characters pause, and this one character delivers their monologue. And then this will create moments of focus where the audience is able to like connect with that character, their perspective, their motivations. So that's a monologue. And you can remember that because mono means one. So one person doing the talking. And then not to be confused with a soliloquy because solo also means one, right? And there is just one person doing the talking in a soliloquy, but I like to think of it as like solo on stage. They are solo, they're the solo one talking, the solo one on stage. That's the main difference between a soliloquy and a monologue. So your character is completely alone on stage, and often this is like their deepest, darkest secrets, their innermost thoughts, and it would not be audible to the audience if it weren't for this soliloquy. Like we would have no idea that whatever this was going on, was happening, if it weren't for them verbalizing these thoughts, right? So it's kind of like your window into their mind or their soul. And that's the key difference between a monologue and a soliloquy. They are completely alone and they are sharing their internal thoughts externally because otherwise the audience would not know them, right? So their inner conflicts, their true feelings, their hidden motives, things that they're not going to share with other characters, that's what they're delivering in the soliloquy. This plays a role in the text I Am American that you guys are reading a lot about right now in the lessons. And it shares their personal histories, their family secrets across generations. And just a side note, if it's bolded on the slide, you're tested on it, either in a quick check or on the test. So take notes. An example from I Am American is Max Littlefeather's opening line. It's a soliloquy, and it's establishing his perspective and cultural identity. Okay, and then one of the last things we're going to talk about is an aside, and that is kind of like when the character is breaking the fourth wall. So we talked about this in Tom in the Glass Menagerie, has a lot of lengthy asides, and whenever he's just talking, it's either a monologue or a soliloquy. But whenever he kind of like talks about the play or about another character, and breaks the fourth wall, so to speak, to tell us something. It's almost like he's removing himself from this plot to tell us this thing, like, hey, did you find out that Laura said this? That's an aside. So I kind of like always like whenever they're like making a remark off to the side that they don't want all the other characters to know, they're sharing with the audience, they're breaking the fourth wall to talk to us directly about what's going on the stage. That's an aside. So the other characters can't hear. They'll either like not be around, or they'll be doing something totally different, or they'll be like frozen in time. And so they're completely unaware that these comments are happening, and that's kind of how you differentiate an aside from a monologue. And so this is like their true reactions or their truth like their true thoughts on the topic when they give an aside, and it's usually funny or insightful. All right, last thing I'm going to show you guys, move my face out of the way, is just some ways to identify dramatic irony. That's when the audience knows something the character doesn't know, right? So I know something that you don't know. Oh goodness, my phone's ringing. Hold on, I have to call him back. So when you know something that the characters don't know, this creates tension. This creates engagement for the audience and the viewers, and that kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like, when are they going to find out what I know? So this knowledge gap, something you know that they don't know, it creates suspense and anticipation. It gives the audience more emotional involvement and more insight to the truth or whatever's really going on. So, in I Am American, this happens with ancestral connections between characters. We find that out, and the characters have no idea. And so that's like some really powerful moments of dramatic irony. When you're trying to figure this out, like, is this dramatic irony or is it not? Or what is dramatic irony? You can just think, do I know something the characters don't? That's what you would ask yourself to figure out if it's dramatic irony or not. Hope this is helpful. Bye, guys.